great to have Gary DeLacy in. He looks very casual as we get ready for the summer on vacation right now. How's the summer going, Gary?
For the administrators, next week will be the end of the summer. So we had a meeting about a week ago, and I said, just remember, when it hits August 1st, it's over for us. And really, one of the busiest times of the year for the administrators is school startup. And really, it starts right about August 1st when you're just all the planning and everything that you need to get done before the kids walk in the door on August 23rd. So it'll be a very busy, it always is a very busy three and a half weeks. And quite frankly, for me as a superintendent, it settles down a little bit once the kids get into the session.
I would imagine.
And so, I mean, between, there's so many required trainings now that you got to make sure that you're doing, and the staff, and you get the new teachers in, and then obviously we get everybody to come in on August 18th is the first day for everybody to come back, and then that's a real packed 3 in-service days to let's get everything up to speed before the first day of school.
Okay, now, of course, back to school will be coming up, and next week is going to be a no-contact week. I was out in Fort Dodge covering the Northeast girls. The boys are, of course, playing in Iowa City and Carroll baseball. That'll wrap up the summer sports. Talk a little bit about the no contact.
Well, actually, I was on the rep council for the boys union when I was a superintendent at Danville, and there was lots of conversation. It wasn't many years ago where the boys, the state softball and baseball were not running concurrently, and I remember the girls would actually finish that first Friday in August, and then that following Monday was the first fall practice date. So basically there was a 2-day, 3-day overlap between end of the summer sports and that. And we talked about, Iowa's one, I think, of 2 states in the nation that runs a summer sanctioned softball, baseball program, and families are just getting stretched, and we're encouraging kids to be involved, but then where is the family time? And so they've worked to reconfigure things that next week is a designated family week across the state. There should be no camps, open gyms. It is a designated week where athletes are not, and families should not feel compromised. Like if they're going to go on vacation, this is a blocked off, and when you add the 2 weekends, it's kind of a 9-day. These 9 days are untouchable across the state, and we'll certainly honor that. I am very supportive of that because, like I said, I grew up in Minnesota, next door to Wisconsin. They do a lot of Legion ball in the summer and that, but it's not really school sanctioned. So really, their sport seasons end like mid-June. So you really have mid-June to beginning of August was family time. I mean, there'd still be open gyms and things, but there was no sanctioned events going on during that time. Iowa, I just think we need to allow families to have that time where they don't feel like, the coach is going to be mad because we went on vacation. I mean, those are the conversations you would get, even though it would be open gyms or a camp or whatever. And I think that was a real positive decision by both the Boys and Girls Union to work together and get a designated, and I think some of it is, can we expand it even more to maybe a 2-week window in the future?
I know it's a double-edged sword. I know the athletes get pulled in so many different directions. The athlete who is a good all-around athlete playing baseball, well, the football coach would like to see him at camp. The basketball coach would love to see him over the summer months as well. So it makes it difficult for the young person.
Yeah, but I would also say that it is doable, and I hate to go back to the 92 crew, but you look at that group of kids, it could have been very easy for them to specialize.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much participated in a fall, winter, spring, summer. I mean, I look at those kids, a lot of them were in 2 or 3 of those sports seasons. I remember we used to run an open gym Monday and Tuesday nights, 6 to 9 in the evening. And Chris Johansson would show up after a baseball game like at 8:30, nobody in the gym, and I would rebound free throws for him for a half hour. So, and he was played a lot of baseball. But again, was it important for Chris Johansson to shoot some free throws for us in that state tournament run? Absolutely. He hit some huge free throws, and I think back, you know what? He made the effort after a baseball game, which would have been very easy to go home, but you know what? I can stop by the gym for 30 minutes, and I'm going to shoot 100 free throws, and then I'll go home. And all those little things can make a difference. I do think there's enough time where kids can dedicate to each sport and still not feel compromised.
You know, and it's another thing. It's kind of a life skill. You learn how to put your time schedule together.
It is. I think it is a very good thing. And this is where I would even advocate. I'll hear parents say, well, I don't want them to go out for a sport because they got to do, they got homework. This is the time to teach your son or daughter time management. And I'll be honest, I'll be entering my 39th year of education. The most successful students are the ones that are involved after 3:30. Those are your most successful students. They learn how to time manage. I mean, my girls were big into the fine arts and theater, and a lot of times in theater practice, if they're not on stage, they're sitting in the theater seat and they're doing homework. Yeah. They time manage and say, well, I'm not on stage right now. I got 15 minutes. I'm going to knock this assignment out or whatever. And I think that was a great skill for real life. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think we undersell, and we need to not lower our expectations of our student athletes. They can do it, and there are some great lessons, like you say, in terms of time management.
You know, I always heard if you want something done, give it to somebody who's busy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great quote.
Back to school, the importance of registering.
Yeah. We opened up our registration on July 5th, and one of my messages is I check in with Julie Mattson every day in terms of registering. My message is, parents, please do not wait. It really helps us with planning. Like I said, we do a lot of planning, particularly around the 1st of August. When we look at our elementary sections split between 4 buildings, we're trying to balance those sections the best we can. For us to do the best job that we can, we've got to have the best data possible. And it does not help us to wait until a day or two before school begins to register, because we've already had to make those decisions. It's open right now. If you have any problems in terms of how to do it, please reach out at 243-9600. Ask for Julie Mattson. She would certainly walk you through it if you don't know. If you forgot your passwords, which I'm hearing a lot of, call your home building, and those secretaries are there. They will be able to provide the password for you so you can get in and register. Like I said, we want to do the very best job with our students, and one of the things that parents could really help us with is giving us really good data so we can actually staff and balance our classes across the district as best as possible.
Who needs to register? Is it a new student, or if you're going to another grade level, say like elementary to middle to high school?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody needs to. So you're a returning student, you still register, because did they move over the summer? You can throw out the thing now with educational savings accounts. Did they take out one of those and we're not aware of it? And those kinds of things. So the things will happen. So anyone that's planning to attend Clinton schools, we would encourage them to get in and register. Today would be, but I'll be honest, we will start looking at making sure staffing decisions, looking at classes, balancing things around that 1st of August.
We're going to have you back in again August 17th, so hopefully you won't be making that same plea when you come back in on the 17th. Right. So before we take a break for the weather, staffing, and certainly a need for bus drivers.
Yeah, we're actually in a little better shape in terms of teachers than we've been in past years. The one thing that, if there is anybody out there that is fluent in Spanish, please, and you would have an interest in working with kids, please reach out to us. We are still short of high school Spanish teachers. Unfortunately, that was the case last year, and they're not to be found. And I talked to other administrators across the state. There is just a major shortage right now of finding them. We're 2 positions short at our high school, and unfortunately, if we can't find it, We will provide an online option, but I would certainly prefer an in-person option, and I think most people will. It's just a matter we cannot find a certified person. And quite frankly, if you're a native speaker, there are some alternative licensure methods now that we can get you into that position. You don't have to be quote-unquote certified at this moment. But, if you do have an interest in working with kids and you are fluent in Spanish, that would be huge for us. The other thing is I know we are 3 full route positions of bus drivers down right now, and we've been full court pressing. I believe we're advertising with KROS.
I haven't heard they contacted us, but I haven't gotten the okay just yet.
Yeah, I think we're trying to reach out as many avenues as possible. I'm reaching out right now. If you have an interest, even if you don't have your CDL, we're willing to train you up. You would have to get moving on it because we're about a month away from school, and it would probably take at least that long for you to get your CDL. But please reach out to us. Barry Holden is our transportation director. Again, I believe that number is 243-4441, or you could obviously call the administration center 243-9600 or check on the website. We really do need a few people to step up to be a bus driver.
All right, again, visiting with Gary DeLacy. More after this break for the weather, brought to you by ServiceMaster.
We are tracking still a little bit of heat today, but less humidity and less in the way of cloud cover. With mostly sunny skies, temperatures working their way back to the mid-80s. For tonight, a little bit cooler. We'll keep it partly cloudy with lows near 60. And for Friday, mid-80s continue with a mix of clouds and sun. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky with Storm Track 8.
Right now, sunshine. We're in the upper 70s. Our update brought to you by ServiceMaster.
When disaster strikes, ServiceMaster at 215 4th Avenue South in Clinton is here to help. Here's owner Michael Armstrong.
We do a tremendous amount of disaster restorations. We deal with almost every single day.
Do you have regular business hours?
Yes, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. The vast majority of our work is disaster, so 24-hour service. Whenever you need us, we'll be there to help you.
For water, fire, and smoke damage, mold remediation, and other specialty cleaning, call ServiceMaster of Clinton at 563-242-0724.
Great to have Gary DeLacy in studio on FYI. We'll continue to the bottom of the hour. Right now, summer facility projects update.
Yeah, actually, at our next board meeting, before the board meeting on August 14th, I'm going to take the board around, but I wanted to give the community an update on our projects. Probably one of the most visible ones right now, if you go by Whittier and check out, their playground is finished, and it is a beautiful facility. I know they'll have a grand opening probably when school starts on that to recognize that. I want to throw out kudos to the PTA at Whittier that were very instrumental in fundraising for the equipment of that project. The district chipped in by putting in the cement and that rubberized surface that goes around it, so it's ADA compatible on that, but it is a beautiful facility. I see Brian Kinney relented and took the security fence off around it, so I've been going by and I noticed kids have already, it's like a magnet, they've attracted to it, so they've been playing on it, which is fine, and that a great facility. Bluff should have it by hopefully the start of school. Their playground equipment came in. We do have it installed. The board on the Monday night meeting went ahead and approved that concrete and rubberized surface to put around that. That needs to happen between now and the start of school, so that'll be a pretty tight timeline, but it is scheduled, if we stay on time, that playground will open as well. The bus barn is scheduled to be completed by mid-August. We had a construction meeting yesterday. They're actually now in the part where they're in the finishing touches of the office. They've sheetrocked it, so it's just a matter of taping, mudding it, getting it painted.
Is that the same location out there on
Same
Highway?
location. If you go out there, you'll notice a much bigger building just on the west side of that property. It will now, we've never had a wash bay, which has been one of our biggest maintenance issues, because most of our, when the state inspector comes twice a year, most of our fleet they have the power to take that out of service. Most of our fleet if it's taken out of service, it's because of rust. Right. And we're not able, particularly getting underneath it and now we'll have the undercarriage to really spray underneath those buses and that. I'm hopeful that it'll extend the life of our buses 2, 3, 4 years, being able to really do a good job. We have 3 full service bays. Remember, the current one was a DOT building, so it was your salt trucks. It's that width. You can't pull a bus in completely. It's hanging outside. We'll now have the opportunity. We have a very good mechanic with the 3 bus, service bays. You'd say, why 3? There's times if you pull an engine, okay, you're going to have to take a bay and do that, and then you may not get the parts, but we still need a bay or 2 to still service our other vehicles. So just to give our mechanic a full opportunity to do that. We've got the portable lifts now, which is computerized. It's kind of a neat thing to see where you put it under the 4 tires and it reads together and it lifts it up so you can now walk under the bus and we'll have a high enough ceiling that you can get underneath it and really inspect it instead of you're on your back crawling underneath. You can't see very well. So it's going to be a much better situation to keep our fleet maintained. In the long term, it should be a cost savings to taxpayers because we should be able to extend the life of our vehicles.
I would think so, yeah. What about the high school? How is that coming along?
The high school, the demo, they're finding that underground piece of the 1919 building is very challenging. They go, oh my God, there's so many walls and things. They have about a week left of the demo, and then they said the 1st of August they will start doing the groundwork, and phase 2 will start to go up. So we've got a little over a week of demo, and then we'll start seeing something come up out of the ground.
Evolved school safety screening, talk about that.
In May, the board approved a weapon detection screening system. Not a metal detector. This is kind of the next level, but one of the things we've talked about is safety is a priority, and what is the next step? We've done so many things, and the next step in my mind is how do we screen to try to ensure that guns are not coming into the school through backpacks, pockets, and those kinds of things. And this actually uses artificial intelligence, and it looks for the shape of it. So most kids can walk through, and then we need a good flow. So people say, well, why didn't you get a metal detector? Well, to me, it's too slow. Kids got to empty their pockets with keys and their cell phone. You think about an airport, that kind of thing. We can't get 1,000 kids into the building and start school on time. Well, we did see this being used at Rivas High School, which is a suburb of Chicago, and the flow goes really well. It does flag anyone that has anything potential in the shape of a gun. And we are going to start utilizing that at the beginning of the school year. And one of the reasons I want an awareness by that, it's portable, so we are planning on using this for some of our big events like football games. Okay. So people we'll have plenty of signage up that please do not be trying to bring any weapons into the stadium. You are going to get screened. And it's very good technology. The Chicago Cubs use the exact same technology this year if you go to Wrigley Field.
Who's going to be manning that, Gary?
It will be school staff. We will be trained, but then we'll also have the support of the Clinton Police that if we do run into a situation, that they're there to assist us.
All right, very good. Boy, time goes by quickly when we have you in studio. The legislative session, there have been some changes made.
Yeah, there's like 30 new bills that affected some aspect of schools this upcoming year, just a few of them. We were ahead of this one last year. We started if a student wanted to use a different pronoun of their name and things like that. And some of it isn't, I'll be honest, if it doesn't even have to be gender identified. So I'll just throw out a name like Kim. Kim can be for a male, it can be for a female. You think about Kim Huckstead, who used to be a longtime superintendent up at Macokota, that kind of thing. So if they're not being called, there will be a thing on our registration when people register that if, let's say, I'll even go off my right-hand man, Wesley Golden, that's what it's on there, but he likes to go by Wes. If they want to go by something other than their birth certificate, the parents can go in. There will be part of the registration to say, here are some quote-unquote nicknames or things that they like to be called, which you think back to high school, that's probably at least half the kids probably don't go by the name on their birth certificate. There is a place to identify that, and that's one of the things that was kind of specified. Okay. The other thing, and this is not a change for Clinton schools, there'll be a little more verbiage on our website, but if people have questions about curriculum and those kinds of things, that has been always readily available. The new legislation specifies that we make that more in the forefront on the website, but quite frankly, we use the Iowa Core curriculum, which is mandated across the state. But you're more than welcome to take a look at it. So that was another part of that transparency law that we'll be pushing out.
You know, one thing I talked to you about before we went on the air, I noticed out on Manufacturing Drive, what used to be the Clinton Community College Technology Center is now part of the Clinton schools.
It is. We had been calling it GLC, the Gateway Learning Center, but with the move, they felt we were going to start with a fresh start, and so they came up with EAC, was the Educational Advancement Center, and there is new signage up already. We are very pleased to work with Clinton Community College in the sale of that building. I think the building is in very good shape. It'll be a very nice home. It's closer. A lot of our kids, particularly in that program, are probably going to look at, in terms of workplace readiness, jumping over to the new Clinton Career Center, with the culinary and welding and woods and those kinds of things. So it's nice to move a little bit closer to that. I know the staff and the kids are excited to get into that building. It'll be a great alternative environment. It'll still be small and meet the needs. I've always felt like a good, strong alternative program meets the needs of the community of Clinton, and we're proud to have a facility to help support that.
You know, what is great is the way that the Clinton Community College and the Clinton School District work together.
Yeah. And obviously, that's been a long-standing relationship going way back when there was a lot of shared facilities between the two. And it's great to continue to work with them. We have a good relationship. We've committed to send 85 of our juniors and seniors over the next 10 years to that Career Awareness Center, which to me is the right thing. I do think that that's about 20% of our juniors and seniors that should be involved in 8 or 9 of those career pathways. So we're proud to partner with them, and we'll continue that partnership.
Okay, as always, appreciate your time, especially over the summer months. So again, we'll have you in on August 17th when things are really going to get started for another school year.
Yeah, that'll be the day before all the staff returns on the 18th. So at that point, we will really be talking back to school.
No doubt about that. If people would like to find out more information, how can they best do that, Gary?
Well, you can go through our website, obviously, but if you're still would like that human contact face-to-face, the best way to do that is call the Central Administration Center, 243-9600. We're there all summer. We will field your questions.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.